Welcome to the number one Bengals podcast. I'm your host,
only number one,
Daddy McDuke. I'm joined as always by Dr. Hodgie, the Electric Esmoji,
right?
and John. Ella Fitzgerald? Sheeran? I ran out of crooners. I don't remember crooners, so I'm going to the croonettes. But, okay, guys, introduction. First and foremost. As you know, to get this show on the air, we have to promote Courtney's enterprise, Brinks.tv.
It takes a lot of compromises to get this show on the air.
You can
including dignity.
You can go to Brinks.tv right now. We are live right there, but there's a lot of other features. And it is in 3D and get this, in IMAX, which means if you look up at the ceiling while you're watching the show, you will see us on your ceiling as well. I don't know how they do that. Courtney?
Is that true? That seems like another Dadioism.
It's a Dadioism. But he got it half right, so we're already better than last week.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay, Courtney, no, really, I want to talk about Brinks.tv. It's a great network. It's not just us. They have other shows. Hold on. Let me get this. I want to get it right. Hold on.
You never get it right.
Okay. So they have a show called Alternative Acts.
No.
And it is hosted by James Woods. And he reenacts scenes from movies that had problematic themes.
No.
Like, hold on.
Nope.
Blackfish.
It wrong.
Like the movie Blackfish. He took out, he redid all the scenes with the trainers. And now they are just petting the fish.
Why do you do this?
And doing video calls with their families.
Why do you do this to me? You know that's something I care about. You know I spent my whole life fighting for orcas and dolphins. Why would you do that?
All right. No, but we are going to, okay, look, there really is the Ray Lewis show. That is a real show,
right,
Courtney, right?
Doesn't sound as interesting.
No.
It's not as interesting. But they have the Ray Lewis show, and it is about, hold on, exchanging pleasantries, sharing recipes, and the championship mentality. Wow. And they have some fantastic guests. And I want to pull up the list of guests they just had. So just this past week, they had Greta Thunderbird.
Are you talking about my hero?
Yeah, which I know that obviously Hodgie is very happy about. But she was on because she's the champion of global warming.
No, not global
warming. I find very
She's
impressive.
an advocate of, she's an environmentalist and an advocate of stopping.
Yeah, they also say the champion. She's the champion, which I think that means with the new infrastructure deal, she has invested wisely in coal and bridges and all that kind of stuff.
You have the exact opposite of Greta Thunberg's message, and you have missed the boat on that, young man.
But they do have Michael Strahan, Jack Del Rio, and Bill the Bulldog Cower were all real guests on the real Ray Lewis show.
Okay.
Right.
I had no idea his nickname was Bulldog.
He looks like a bulldog.
It works.
Kinda.
But, I mean, look, here's the thing. I think the Ray Lewis show is great, and they have a lot of great guests. But I guess it's a little... I don't want to say...
This is where reading would help. The ability to read.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's insulting. No, that's not the word, or offensive, but I guess it's appalling, Courtney, that we haven't been on the show yet. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. But I'm sure they're going to get it figured out, that we will be on the Ray Lewis show.
We're waiting for the time when Ray needs to complete his community service.
Gotcha.
That's a good one.
Gotcha.
That's a zinger.
Okay, so look, let us move on to the bye week, please.
Bye week. Hello.
And,
time to breathe and visualize.
So we had CJ Uzama. He said that he used the bye week to remember how to breathe and to visualize and to eat and regain function in a lot of his different body parts after that terrible loss against the Cleveland Browns. So, what do you think?
I think
that like you just compared it to a vegetable.
I've been talking about bringing meditation to Bengals practice. I want to include yoga. I want to include some other like acupuncture treatments,
Right.
as well as going gluten-free and vegan. And I'm thinking this would be a top team if they just listen to me.
Yeah. But what did you guys do to get ready for this show over the bye week?
Well,
I did the old Hodgie route and did absolutely nothing.
well,
Okay.
I usually visualize myself getting through this show before I come on this show.
Right.
And yeah, it works. But really, I'll be honest with you, Dadio. I
Please.
when the fact that the Bengals were not playing this week was good for my heart. Because I tell you what, man, this is the game. This game with the Raiders, this is the game.
Yeah.
If we lose this game, I think a big part of the fan base loses hope. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, I will tell you.
And if we win this game,
yeah,
I think we regain a lot of hope. It's a big game.
it is.
And so I've been prepping for that, taking some extra magnesium and just, trying to get the heart down and calm.
Well, I will say this. Our guest is, unlike the rest of this show, is a professional.
He's the real deal.
He's the real deal. He has
Oakland
worked for every network. Real news, fake news. I mean,
Wait,
CNN,
why fake news?
Fox News, everything.
CNN is real news.
I didn't say which was which, Hodgie. See, you're trying to divide this country. That is what you do. Look, he also was for the NFL Network. And he is a field producer. And
I'm not the one who
he
used
now
to call MSNBC MNMBC. You didn't even know what it was called. You used to call it M&M's BC. You didn't even know what it was called.
okay, but they had a lot of different colors. Do you remember when they first came out? It was the most colorful network.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is what I thought M&M means colorful
My
initially.
favorite's the red.
But I will say this. We have brought on this man to break it down for us and talk about this very important matchup.
Oh, yeah.
And he is the host of the Bleav in the Raiders podcast, which he's been doing for about a year and a half. So welcome to Mr. Dennis Ackerman.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me on. I'm glad to be here.
It's an honor.
Thank you. And Courtney, yes, there we go. You can follow Dennis. There is his Twitter handle. Go and follow him. And Dennis, look, what is going on with what is your take on this matchup? That is my first question.
Well, it's not going very well for the Raiders right now. I can tell you that. On Sunday night, they had everything set up for them to take over first place. The Chargers and Broncos both lost earlier in the day. They're playing their rivals, the Kansas City Chiefs. It's Sunday night football. Everybody's watching, and what happens? They get out-coached. They get out-schemed. They get outplayed. They get outclassed, and they lose 41-14 on Sunday Night Football. Absolutely embarrassing performance, and now they find themselves in third place, looking up at the Chargers and the Chiefs, who are now in first place. And the Raiders have lost 2 in a row, and now they find themselves 5-4.
Well,
I watched that game, Dennis, and I will tell you, early on, it did seem like the Raiders were holding it together. And that Derek Carr, I've always been a fan of his. You can ask the boys. Even when people were down in the dumps on Derek Carr, I said, no, this guy's elite. He's special. I said that from the beginning, and I still believe it. And he looked like it. Why did that slip away? What's wrong with this team?
We're going. That's our next segment, Hodgie.
Okay.
We're getting ahead of things. Yeah.
About why it slipped away about Derek Carr.
Yeah, but I just want to ask Mr. Ackerman this. I saw you actually on the Eagles podcast, I think a week or two ago, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, yep. I watched that. And you were talking about the head coach. The interim coach. I can't remember his name. I have it here.
You want me to tell it to you, or you want to read it?
No, I have my notes.
I definitely want to hear
when
him.
When he reads stuff, there's always a reason he's reading stuff.
So all I know about him is that his name is Rich Bisakia. And what that tells me, just from my understanding of the English language, is that he's a bold, daring individual who's not afraid to take risks.
Because Rich isn't his name?
No, Rich Bisakia. And
what does that mean? Why does Bisakia have to do with anything?
It's just my understanding of it. He is rich in the Bisaccia region. I don't know what it means, but
Oh, I see. You're saying the Bisaccia are too. Is this some sort of innuendo?
I don't know. I don't make the name. I didn't choose the name.
What does it mean? How are you interpreting his name?
Look.
What is the Bisaccia?
Can we just be professionals here, please, Hodgie?
You're saying he's rich in the Bisaccia region?
Okay. Here's the thing.
We don't understand. I need you to.
Let us go to Raiders of the Lost Spark, Courtney, please. This show is getting derailed again. And what we want to know is okay. So when the team kind of fell apart in prime time, do you think you said you were out coached, and I know Gruden wasn't necessarily a top coach, but do you think that Bisaccia maybe that David Carr has kind of, or Derek Carr has lost some of that spark that he had, that MVP spark?
Well, I'm going to start off with this. It's Rich Bisaccia.
There you go.
That sounds so much more luxurious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Finally, some class on this show. Finally, some literacy on this show. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. So, look, the first, 5-7 games or so, the Raiders did a great job. They took care of the football. They only turned it over 5 times. And then the last 2 games, they've turned it over 5 times alone. And, Derek Carr has turned it over 4 times himself. He threw a pick 6 against the Giants. He threw another interception against KC. And these last 2 weeks, I kind of felt like this is how they were going to play after John Gruden resigned, and then after the horrific incident off the field with Henry Ruggs, and then Damon Arnett. They released him, one of their former first-round picks. He was made an Instagram video or some kind of TikTok video of him brandishing a weapon and threatening someone. So all this off-the-field stuff that has been going on with this organization, I feel like it's finally caught up with them. And so the way they played the last 2 weeks is how I thought they played the previous 2 weeks. So right now they're in a tailspin. I don't know if they really know who they are. Unfortunately for Raider fans, we've seen this storyline before. 2 years ago, they started out 6-4. They finished 7-9. Last year, they start 6-3. They finish 8-8. So I don't really know where this team is going. But the interesting thing about the NFL, it's so week to week. So look, if they can beat the Bengals, if they can get their act together and win on Sunday, they're 6-4 and they're right back in the thick of things. So who knows?
I tell you what, I like the outcoached thesis that you mentioned, because we had the case of a pick 6 that really changed the momentum against our team when we were playing the Browns. But I want to push back a little bit on the coaching issue, because you tell me something, you tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like John Gruden never really believed in Derek Carr. I believe there was tension there. And I wonder if Derek isn't happier now than he was before. What do you think?
Hodgie, right?
You can call me whatever you want.
Okay.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you, because under John Gruden, Derek Carr played his best football ever. Over the last couple of years, he had thrown for over 4,000 yards. Last year, he threw for over 26 touchdowns and just under 7 interceptions. So he had put up some wonderful numbers under John Gruden. He really had it. And to start off the season, I believe 4 out of his first 5 games, he had thrown for over 300 yards. He was at one time, he was second in the NFL in passing yards, just behind Tom Brady. Yeah. So Derek was playing very well. Now, he's kind of laid an egg the last couple of weeks, but until the last few weeks, I would say he was one of the top 7-8 quarterbacks in the NFL the way he was playing. Now, I don't know if he's still there based on his performance the last couple of weeks, but Derek had grown quite a bit under John Gruden's tutelage.
Yeah, and Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong, but Dennis, wasn't one of the reasons he even came to Oakland at the time Derek Carr? Like he wanted a quarterback in place that he believed in.
No, he didn't believe in Derek.
Well, I think he did believe in Derek.
My understanding was that there was always friction between the two.
Okay, well, if you go back to John Gruden when he first got the Raiders head coaching job way back in 1998, he had a quarterback by the name of Rich Gannon.
Right.
And those two constantly butted heads on the sideline. But Gannon had the best years of his career under John Gruden. Now, when Gruden went to Tampa Bay, it seemed like it was a revolving door there at quarterbacks. He won the Super Bowl with Brad Johnson. We don't have to really get into that because they beat my Raiders. But anyways, look, Gruden's always going to had the reputation of headbutting with quarterbacks, but he also got the best out of them. He really did.
Maybe it's part of the game. Maybe he's playing the mind games because he is kind of a quarterback whisperer. I give you that.
Dennis, you're saying that, basically they are going through a rough time. They've kind of lost their identity. And John can tell, the Bengals have a history of, being the bounce back game for teams. We saw it with the Browns just last week. We've seen it so many times, or a couple of weeks ago. We've seen it so many times in our decades of following the team.
Before John, may I just say, we were also the bounce down team for the Ravens.
No,
they were moving on up until they met us.
That was a free game, John.
Well, the thing with Derek Carr is that for as much criticism as he gets, including criticism from yours truly, and despite the perception of him, I was looking at everything that was happening with the Raiders, with Gruden and with Henry Ruggs, and I'm like, how is this team still 5-3 before last week? And the resounding response to that was because Derek Carr was playing really good, which just tells you how valuable just having a quarterback is, despite all of the controversy and your head coach resigning for a huge scandal and your star first-round receiver incidentally murdering someone by driving 150 miles down the road, and everything that is distracting the team. As long as you have a quarterback that can compete every single week, you have a chance. But as Dennis alluded to, that hasn't been the case the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but I saw Derek Carr's reaction to those things, and his heart was broken. So it's not just a distraction. He's a very sensitive, tender-hearted guy, and I think maybe he'll take him a couple of weeks, and then he'll shake it off and be back to the same Derek Carr.
It's not about Derek Carr, I don't think. I think there's a lot more going on with the Raiders than just Derek Carr. Derek Carr was still, I think, he was being read. And I think there wasn't enough changing. They weren't innovative enough in changing their approach when things didn't go their way against the Chiefs. But I'd like Dennis to talk about other things because we really have to understand.
Well, let us move on to along the lines because, Dennis, we are very scared of
maybe one more time.
We're afraid of your pass rushers.
Yeah.
Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby.
Yes.
Who have a combined 92 pressures. And what that means is, and they didn't blitz Patrick Mahomes very much.
Not enough.
But they still got to him. Yeah, what that means is that it's very bad for us because our quarterback is excellent against the blitz. And when you don't blitz him, that means you're getting pressure with your front four, and we're in trouble. So it's a very bad matchup for us.
Yeah.
And I want John, because he is the expert on the lines. I want him to chime in.
Well, I'll give you a little secret how to beat the Raiders right now if the Bengals are on offense. You mentioned the great pass rush with Max Crosby, who's one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. Yannick Ngakoue was a big free agent signing for the Raiders in the offseason. They have been wonderful. They really have. But the way to beat the Raiders is to run the football. They are in the bottom 10 against the run. And if you can run the ball against them, then you can set up the play action pass, and that should open up things for the Bengal wide receivers. I know they got a very good passing game. Jamar Chase is having an outstanding rookie season. So that is the blueprint for the Bengals offense to take advantage of the Raiders defense.
Well, that also seems to be the blueprint for beating us.
Yeah. John, please.
Joe Mixon?
Yes, Joe Mixon. Absolutely, Joe Mixon. This is a Gus Bradley defense, and his scheme has not really changed over the years, but I think the Raiders defense has performed pretty well because they've gotten production out of both Yannick and Max Crosby. Max Crosby, who out of, I think, Eastern Michigan, was so productive that year that he came out, and he kind of fell inexplicably in the draft because of that small school status. But it goes to show you when guys are athletic and they produce in college, they tend to be pretty good. I don't think anyone expected him to be as good as he is now. He's arguably the best edge rusher, performing edge rusher in the NFL, and Yannick has been good on the other side. Yeah, Joe Mixon having a great game can definitely help the Bengals. I think he played really well the last time these two teams met in 2019. He was like the only offense that the Bengals had when they had Ryan Finley at quarterback. But keeping Crosby and Yannick away from Joe Burrow is also going to be pivotal in this game. It can't just be Joe Mixon running the ball 40 times. They're going to have to pass the ball against a Raiders secondary that has Casey Hayward playing pretty well. So just keeping Yannick and Max Crosby at bay is going to be easier said than done. But that is the strength of the Bengals' offensive line, right? Riley Reif and Jonah Williams as pass protecting edges. But it's not just Myles Garrett as one guy to worry about. Now you have two edges that can win one-on-one matchups.
John, you were talking, I think the last time the two teams met, I think Crosby had 2 or 3 sacks, I think. That game was actually in Oakland, and that was Crosby's rookie year, and I believe he had 2 or 3 sacks.
I think that was his coming out day. Like he was like, that was his welcome to the NFL moment. He like really made his mark.
So, John, does that mean that pass-wise we can expect the short kind of, quick passes, dinkity dunks?
Well, that's not even been the strength of the Bengals passing game. That's Joe Burrow has thrown 5 interceptions on passes 10 yards within the line of scrimmage. The most productive way that they've been able to move the ball through the air is pushing the ball down the field. So if they can get the quick, short passing game, because that was Joe Burrow's strength out of LSU, and for some reason it's been very volatile this year where there's been a lot of turnover-worthy throws. So if there's a week to get that back on track, it could be this one.
I wonder why.
Probably, I mean, he's kind of forcing things at certain points, like against the Bears. I think he had like 3 interceptions and like 3 possessions, right, John? Something like that. And I think it was the team. Yeah.
You wrote an article, Dadio, that ended up being quite controversial this week.
Right.
Where you seem to want him to throw more interceptions. Now, we are used to inane, ridiculous ideas on this show.
Right.
So that was not that surprising for us. But if you look at the comments, there was a lot of hate toward you. That he should throw more interceptions.
Well, it doesn't hurt.
Were you paid off?
It can, actually.
It will
hurt. John, what I meant was, if you look at
I'm putting the pieces together. Las Vegas, there's a lot of money. You are a corrupt human being. And then you give advice that they throw more interceptions.
Let us move on to predictions, please.
Can I ask a quick question?
Please, Dennis, please.
Are those famous Cincinnati Bengal players behind you?
That's right. Yes.
Is Ickey Woods in there?
Yes, Ickey Woods is in there. It's a classic cover.
Kenny Anderson?
Kenny Anderson. These are classic Sports Illustrated other covers that I've collected over the years. They're photocopies, but I mean, the photocopies are still very expensive, and they're actually collectibles.
4 or 5 cents, Dennis.
Because I have signed the back of them to authenticate that they are. Well, actually, they're printouts of other people's, so actually they have nothing to do with the original.
And then he melts the wax off of cereal boxes over them, so they become "quote unquote" laminated.
It's so much easier to not be cheap.
Yeah,
it is not. That is not true. That's not true. You see. Okay, look, Dennis, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, all good.
Show. No. This is a professional show. I don't know what happened this time. We've never had this before. It just got out of hand. Mr. Ackerman, look, I want to get your prediction for if you could just at the bottom there of the screen.
By how much will the Bengals win, Dennis? What do you think?
Yes, please.
Now,
well, you know what?
Can I try to help? You can do negative numbers.
No, it's absolute value.
For the first time last week, watching the Raiders against the Chiefs, I felt like the Raiders had no chance of winning. I really did. Even when the score was tied and was close, just their body language, I just felt like the Raiders were doomed. I really did. I don't feel confident going into this game. I really don't. They've lost 2 in a row. They have not looked good the last couple of weeks doing so. So I'm actually going to pick against the Raiders. I'm going to go with the Bengals 27-20.
Wow. I think that's the first time we've had a guest go against his own team.
Well, I have to keep it real. I mean, if I don't keep it real,
this is what I mean. That. Fair and balanced. Like a previous employer. No. I love this. I love that we have a guest who understands, journalism. That is what I love. Fair and balanced. Okay. Hodgie, please.
Hodgie. So I'm going to go with my old prediction because I know it's going to happen one time. So I'm going to keep saying, these are 2 teams that want it bad. It's going to be neck and neck, 38-38, and then that's when in the last moments of the game, 70-yard field goal, McPherson kicks it, 41-38 Bengals.
This is the fourth time I think he's made that.
I'm going to keep doing it because
exact
I saw it
prediction.
in a dream.
Okay.
So I don't know when it's going to happen.
Right.
Because I didn't see the other team in the dream. Yeah.
John.
Inevitable. I don't know, Dennis. I feel like being confident is the new not being confident in this NFL right now. We have a lot of things that are going the opposite way of where we expected. And I look at this, and I think it's a decent matchup for the Bengals, but I know the history of this team in these situations, traveling to new cities, coming off of bye weeks. I don't know if they've successfully put together solutions to the obvious problems that they have, and I think the Raiders are in need of a good bounce back opportunity. So while I think the Bengals can win this game, I would like them to show it to me. I would like to be proven wrong. So I will go with a Raiders 27-23 victory here.
Wow.
Whoa.
What is going on? Okay, look.
Our experts are flipping sides.
Yeah. I will say this. My prediction, guys, is that it's going to be an absolute thriller.
Wow.
The game is going to be a thriller. I mean, I'm positive about that.
Okay.
But somehow the Bengals will pull it off in the end, 35-6. And,
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
How is that a thriller?
Because the Bengals are going to moonwalk all over the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh.
That is, yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
That is how it is a thriller. And Dennis, you have been such a gentleman and such a very articulate person that I almost feel embarrassed about asking you about this last segment.
Emphasis on almost.
Yeah. So, Dennis, as you know, Courtney, can we get some music to soften up Dennis, please?
Soften the blow.
Okay, the music is coming, Dennis.
Okay.
Just
And when
imagine.
it does,
Well, something soft? Something
Yeah,
It's supposed
something
to
soft
soften
to
your
put you in the
wallet.
mood.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I can
Yeah.
play along. Oh, there it is.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, very nice.
So, Dennis, as you know, a lot of money exchanges hands in Las Vegas. And nobody knows what goes where. And that is what we ask of patrons, like you, potentially. They sign up on the website, patreon.com/dhsports, and then they forget about it. And their money goes who knows where. Well, it comes to us, but they forget that. And that, Dennis, is what we are asking. Because, look, you hear how bad Dr. Hodgie, not only his takes are bad, but he sounds bad. And it's because he has...
So I was told I would get a new mic for this show.
Right.
And when it arrived, it was in a box that had Big Bird on it. Yes, it is a Sesame Street My First Microphone.
Well, I did. Well, the charity shop, I asked them, and that was all that they had. And they gave it to
My
me.
first microphone.
Did you know, by the way, that the toys in St. Vincent's in Cincinnati are almost
doesn't
always
even have
50%
batteries.
off? Yeah.
It's not even a microphone. It looks like a microphone.
Okay.
It's just plastic.
Can I
Dennis
ask a
wants to
real
say
quick
something.
question?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Do you guys eat Skyline chili?
Devour it
Well,
weekly.
that is what
Have you-
powers John.
Have you had it?
That
What
is
do you
that is
think?
how he has the patience to be on the show. Yes.
I
Yes,
have
what-
tried. I've tried it once. Yes, one time. Is it chili or is it soup?
Oh, it's not chili, my friend. It is not chili. It's Greek meat sauce. It's a very important distinction to make.
Oh,
I'm vegan, so I have better meals in Oakland than I do in Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati. I love the city, but I'm a strict vegan.
I'm going to try to petition Vegas to put a skyline there. I feel like that would definitely enhance just
It's weird. It's
the
weird,
drunk,
but
the drunk walk home on 3 a.m. back to your hotel.
Cincinnati chili has really not made its way across America. It's very strange. You don't really see it anywhere except in Cincinnati.
It's in Florida.
Yes. Well, that makes. But I think that's gator chili, if I'm not mistaken. But look, Dennis, I want to thank you for being on the show, and I want to tell everybody out there to go and subscribe to the Bleav in Raiders podcast, and tell them about who your co-host is. People are not going to believe this.
so my co-host, and I really wish he could have been here tonight, but it's former Raider Stanford Route. He was a cornerback. He played 7 years for the Raiders. He also played 1 year for the Chiefs, but we don't hold that against him. And Stanford's got a lot going on. He's also an assistant football coach for high school in the Houston area, and he's also a color commentary for ESPN Plus. Does a lot of college football, so he's very busy. He's got a lot going on. But yeah,
we almost had him on this show.
We tried.
Almost.
Before we go, why don't we go around the room and everybody tell us who their favorite Raiders player ever is? I'll go first. It's a tie. Derek Carr and Bo. I loved Bo. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah. Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen. Yeah.
Marcus Allen. Oh, good one.
Lester Hayes, easily.
Oh, that's a
great NFL
37.
street player.
Number
Great
37.
NFL street player.
That's a good one, John. My favorite all-time Raider goes way back, fellas. Kenny the Snake Stabler, number 12.
Oh,
the Snake.
Never heard of him, but he must have been good if he's your favorite.
A Hall of Famer.
Wow.
Yeah, he hasn't heard about, I would say, about 98% of the Bengals players that are currently on the roster. Yeah, that is the crazy part.
Very ambitious question, you know.
Yeah. But okay. So yeah, definitely go to Dennis's channel and subscribe, leave 5-star review. And you want to follow him on Twitter, he is the man for Raiders. Been doing it for a long time, folks.
Like the video.
Like our video. Subscribe, leave a comment. Go to the Bleav podcast, #1 podcast. Don't do the other Bleav one.
Notifications.
Yeah. This Bleav, #1.
You better believe this is the #1 Bengals podcast. Easily.
Oh, yeah.
And that is all we have. So see you next time. So long.
#1 in